This week on 10 Minute Food Truck Training, I am talking again with Ken Bohm. He is the owner of the Hippie Gourmet Grilled Cheese Food Company. And we're going to be talking about cost of goods and how it relates to his product. And hopefully you guys can learn a little bit about how you can do your own cost of goods so you can understand how to price your menu. Welcome to the 10 Minute Food Truck Training Podcast. My name is Bill Moore. I am a food truck business coach, author of 5 food truck vending books, including Food Truck 101 and Food Truck 201. This podcast is all about helping you start and grow your food truck business.
Imagine what's possible when learning doesn't get in the way of life. At Capella University, our game-changing FlexPath learning format lets you set your own deadlines so you can learn at a time and pace that works for you. It's an education you can tailor to your schedule. That means you don't have to put your life on hold to pursue your professional goals. Instead, enjoy learning your way and earn your degree without missing a beat. A different future is closer than you think with Capella University. Learn more at capella.edu.
So the last time that we talked, you had a great idea for our next conversation.
I think we were going to talk about costs.
Yes.
Like food costs, COGS, stuff like that, which is good timing because I just emailed my cheese purveyor guy and wanted to get updated prices to figure out whether or not I need to raise prices, because I would like to somewhere in this conversation. We got an offer for a minor league baseball team for a residency. I was just going to kind of run the scenario by you and ask you what you think. But, if you want to drizzle that into this conversation or, however you want to look at it, I was going to ask you your opinion about it. But I do have my prices here that I've kind of scratched down. So we can go over examples, whatever you want to do. Exactly. You are you're the ringleader.
Well, let's just go ahead and keep running with what we're talking about. You said you talked to your cheese purveyor. So is that like a company that only deals in cheese, or they just happen to sell cheese and other products as well?
He gets me a couple other things. He gets me my cheddars, my pepper jack, my Swiss, my Munster. He gets my 5-gallon pickle buckets. He gets my butter. What else does he get for me? Sun-dried tomatoes, jalapenos, and onions. And that's everything that he gets for me. So he's a local guy, one town away. C&W Provisions is the name of the place. Okay. And he is a cheesemonger. I didn't, want to go to cheapen or make it sound, less quality, but I didn't want to run to like the Walmart to get my cheese. I want, the higher and stuff. So he procures me stuff from Wisconsin, fresh. In fact, my Munster, I have to slice it myself. It's one of the few cheeses I have to slice myself. Sometimes it's so fresh. We take it out of the block. It comes in like a 5-pound block, and it's still, how do I describe it? It's still wet from being pressed. Mm-hmm. You can pull it apart. You can see the cheese curds in it. I mean, that's how fresh it is. But that's pretty much what he gets me, is those things. And then the other stuff, clamshells, foil, things like that I get from Webstront and have them delivered. And then my bacon and my ham that I use, my proteins, I get those from a local butcher shop.
So you're kind of a mix of local people and then internet people, I guess.
Anything you're not going to eat, I get off the internet.
I think for a lot of food trucks, that's going to be something that holds true. They try to, as much as possible, buy locally because you're a small business. You want to support small business. And then they kind of balance, what can I get that's also going to be cost effective? So you got to have a mix of, local and national. Or
my case is a pop I get from Costco.
And you're using a name brand?
Yeah, I sell Coke, Diet Coke, water, and Sprite. Try to keep it simple.
And that's the basics. That's what I started out with. Actually, the first restaurant chain that I worked for, that's all they didn't even sell water back then because bottled water was, still 20 years away. We had Coke, Diet Coke, and Sprite, and that was it. So we had 3 heads on a soda fountain. And the first thing that they added, and we didn't actually have Diet Coke back then. This kind of ages me a little bit. We had Tab.
I was just going to say, did you have Tab?
We had Tab.
Pepsi free?
No, we did Coca-Cola. And the first product that we added is when Coke introduced Mr. Pibb. We went to 4 heads on a soda fountain at that point.
I've not had one of those in a very long time.
I remember the presentation that they gave us, because when you start a new product, they send reps down to explain, this is what you need to do. And this is, and somebody always asks, well, what does it taste like? How should we describe the taste to somebody? And he said, well, kind of tastes like cough syrup, cherry cough syrup. And that's really true. That's what it tastes like.
Tastes like Dr. Pepper's cousin.
Pretty much, yeah.
Mr. Pibb.
Mr. Pibb. Yeah. One of the things that people need to focus in on a food truck is you got to sell quality because that's what sets you apart. And also it's what allows you to command a higher price. I'll give you an example and then we'll start to talk about your food. There's a local food truck here that we went to check out. Guys, super friendly, as outgoing as you could possibly want someone to be. Talking to us the whole time, he's making our food and everything. And he goes, makes the food, gets it out really quickly. We sit down to eat it and we take it apart like we do to make sure that it's assembled right and all that. We take pictures and everything. And he's using lunch meat that I recognize as coming out of the deli at Walmart. Low end.
Ouch.
Yeah, the low end meat at that. So you don't want to put a product on your food truck that's not going to impress people, and certainly not a product they can 100% duplicate themselves, because the bread was unremarkable, all the veggies and sauces were unremarkable, and then the meat, again, I could go buy that at the deli at Walmart. So let's talk about what the cheesemonger does for you.
So basically, and I just got done texting him. His name's Rob. Every Monday, he'll text me in the morning because he always beats me to the punch. Hey, you need anything for this week? So what I did originally is I was looking for, and like you said, I didn't want to go to Walmart. Not, and I'm not dissing any Walmart food, but
Right.
not what I want on my truck. Again, not what I, like you said, not what I want to pay, charge a premium for. So I'm thinking, where do I go around the area that I live? I can find something high end that's not gonna break the bank, basically. And so basically what I did, and we live, the area that we live, I don't want to say it's like, without sounding insulting, it's a higher income area. We're in the western suburbs of Chicago. It's just a higher end place to live. We have a ton of specialty shops, a ton of boutique shops. So what I did was I just Googled cheesemonger. Cheesemonger near me on Google. And a lot of them came up, Walmart came up and GFS and, a lot of the big food service places. And I tried to poke at a couple of them to see, maybe if I could get wholesale prices on stuff. But I found out that, you really kind of have to be a restaurant to get those types of prices. You got to be ordering 50 pounds of one kind of cheese a week for it. And I understood it then because I didn't know anything, to make it worth them to deliver to you. So I found a guy local. He's got a little tiny shop in Geneva, Illinois, and it's literally kind of just a storefront. People go in there, but typically what he'll do is he goes to all like the French market and the country markets, and he sells his wares. CNW stands for Curds and Whey, CNW Provision, and he sells again high end cheeses, stuff that for a little ounce of, I don't know. And it's, some of it's so fancy it's beyond me. Cheese with like blueberries or something in it that's like $8 an ounce, like really expensive stuff. And I just basically knocked on his door one day. How you doing? I showed him a picture of my truck. I said, this is what I'm going to be doing. I need a cheese guy. Do you want to be my cheese guy? And at first he didn't want to do it. The reason he didn't want to do it was because I told him of the amount that I would be needing per week. Now, if the last conversation we had talked about the first time out on the truck, I ordered too much, blah, 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 blah. So I told him, we get going, I'm going to need a lot. Can you handle it? He said, I don't know if I'm going to be your guy. He called me back and he said that he had talked to his son about me. And I guess his son convinced him, said, Dad, why would you turn this guy away? This is great for you. Obviously I pay him, to be my middleman. He's going to take a little off the top, and that's fine. We all do. Everybody's going to make a living. And his son convinced him. He called me back and he said, hey, Ken, I think we can do this. Let's give it a whirl. And together we kind of held hands and I made my first order. And I don't know the company he gets it from, but he gets literally from different farms in Wisconsin, different cheeses for me. So my yellow cheddar, oh God, I should have went out and grabbed some packages of it out in the fridge, but they come from different farms, and like I said earlier, like my Munster, for example, sometimes is too fresh. It's hard to melt because the curds haven't stuck together yet. And it's good stuff. Is it a little more expensive? My yellow cheddar per pack is roughly per pound is about $7. White cheddar, pepper jack, Swiss, looking at my notes here, they range between $6.50 and $8.50 a pound. Out of those per pound, I get between 34 and 54 slices, depending on which cheese you're talking about.
Per pound?
Per pound.
So those are pretty thin slices then.
No, wait, is it pound and a half? Oh, you have to forgive me.
It's okay.
It might be pound. It might be 1.5. So yeah, some of them come in twos. I think it's 1.5 1.5 pounds per pack.
Okay.
Forgive me, I'm fighting a cold. My head's a little swimmy today.
It's okay.
Yeah, I have the slices per pack. So 30 slices per pack, yellow cheddar at $7, 54 slices per pack, $8.50 for white cheddar, 30 slices per pack, $8 for pepper jack, 34 slices, $6.50 per Swiss.
You said there's one of them that you slice yourself. Is that the only one you slice?
Munster, yeah.
Munster.
It's the only one you can't find pre-sliced.
So how many slices are you putting on a sandwich?
We'll do 3.
So that builds up the layers.
Yeah. So we'll do a slice, and then whatever ingredient we're going to use, say if it's the Johnny Appleseed, we'll do a slice. We lay down our thin apples, our bacon, and then 2 more slices, and then boom, it goes on the griddle. The fillings are kind of layered in between the cheeses instead of sitting on top.
And the farms that he's purchasing from, those are cheese farms in Wisconsin.
Dairy farms, yeah.
Dairy farm. And so they're producing more than cheese. They're doing all the different byproducts.
Yeah. Yeah. And my butter comes from him too. I use grassland butter.
Okay. Is that salted or unsalted?
That would be unsalted.
Unsalted.
Yes. We're doing about $6 a pound on butter. Butter is, my God, I never knew how expensive butter was until I started doing this.
Yeah, and it's actually gotten up there quite a bit over the last 2 years. All those butters have. Now, tomorrow we'll pick up right where we just left off on figuring out those cost of goods. Thank you so much for listening to the 10-Minute Food Truck Training Podcast. If you're finding all the information helpful to your food truck business, please become a monthly supporter of the podcast. Just hit the support button or follow the link in the description. Every little bit does help keep us going. Join our Facebook group. It's called Food Truck Training. We have a whole bunch of awesome members at all different levels, from brand new beginners to decades-old veterans. They've all got your back when it comes to helping you with your food truck. And again, thank you for listening. Come back tomorrow, because I got plenty more to say when it comes to helping you and your food truck business grow.